Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Peteman Reviews. Today we are going to do Titan's Metroplex. So this is Titans, as it's obviously one of the Titan releases, which also now includes Devastator and Fortress Maximus. But Metroplex was the first of the Titans, thus called because it's absolutely huge. Now, in the build up to it, we've gone over some of the additional enhancements, so the third party kit that I've got for Metroplex. Main part is the head, but there's also some additional items as well, as we can see down here. Scamper actually comes with Metroplex, so he's the only one that isn't, what you can see here, that isn't an addition. So Scamper is actually one of the only extra that comes with it. Now I've had to go handheld because Metroplex is just too big. If we popped it down on the tripod, so where everything else is, for all the other reviews, it barely covers his knees. Gives you an idea of the size of him. It's not easy to do comparisons because he's so huge. So you have seen some of the other size comparisons with the other guys, Triptychon and Scorponok. But just to give you a sense of what his size is compared to some of the other people. Right, so this is one of the taller original Transformers, Shockwave. As you can see, he's about knee height. So, yeah, that gives you some idea. We then add Combiner Wars. It's not Combiner Wars RC. I believe it's Generations RC. If I can ever get it to stand up. I mean, it's fairly immaterial. You can just see RC isn't knee height. She barely comes over the size of the feet. Again, to give you an idea of scope. And then we'll add something like G1 Starscream, who, being a similar height to RC, is very similar in terms of size. So he absolutely dwarfs everything else you've got. He's even bigger than the original Fortress Maximus, and also quite pleasingly so, larger than the Titans release of Fortress Maximus. Not by much, it has to be said. It is a marginal difference, but nevertheless it's enough to keep Metroplex's height as being the tallest, and that's predominantly because of these, but nevertheless it still keeps it as the tallest it could possibly be. So I'm going to try and hold him in the handheld here, but also give you an idea of manoeuvrability here. So the arms, it's a ratchet joint. So you do have some up and down. He doesn't go out, well he does go out to the side a bit like that, but that's not predominantly the movement, it's mainly up and down. The elbow, again similar ratchet joint, so it will move up and down, and the hands are very high level of articulation there. He has individual fingers, and each finger's got an individual bend on it, much like a human. In fact, the whole size of Metroplex is very like a human. Which is just a bit disturbing, frankly, when you try and walk him. Okay, so these guns here, or these towers as they are, do detach. It's not easy to do it left-handed, but there we are. So it's kind of the universal peg that you offer for a lot of them. But they do also flip out, like so. And this part here, the two edges here, they will join onto the hand in this groove here. So I'm going to switch over to the left hand here and try and attach this on the right. So the idea is, so what this will mean when it's in place is that Metroplex can hold the weapon. So you can hold those as a pistol. He can also hold this larger red gun as well, but he will hold those as pistols as well. So he can have a huge gun as well. Now this huge gun at the back, I'm just going to detach it. It does contain a bullet in it, if you like, which is fired from this lever here. So, give you an idea of this. Let's see, so if we point it like that, hopefully I'll be able to recover the trigger afterwards. It's got a very powerful hit. I don't really know how much that will see, but it's a very powerful trigger on it. So just be a little bit careful of that, and that's the missile it fires. But it is a very powerful trigger on it. Okay, so we're now going to get him down from this mode. Pop this camera back on the tripod. I'll just elevate it up a little bit. Unfortunately, can't zoom out any further. Oh, there we are. Don't do that. Can't zoom out any further. So I'm going to transform him down now into city mode, so you can actually see him. Because as good as he is in robot mode, makes it a little tricky to review when you can't see the guy at all. Okay. Excuse me. Right, so the arms. Ratchet the arms down. Now, there isn't really anywhere for his hands to go, so what it suggests you do is you move these up like that. It basically gets them predominantly out of the way. It's probably the lamest part of the transformation. It kind of, I say, the hands don't go anywhere, it just puts them out of the way, but hey, there we go. Okay, so for city mode, Metroplex has to sit down effectively, so you want to put the knees up, and suddenly he's a bit more in shot. It really looks like it's a kid that sat down, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just huge. So the whole thing will ratchet out like this. So that's how we, and then it would help if I had this the right way round, I think. There we go. It is the right way round, it's the legs that need turning round. I don't know if you saw that, we'll do it on this leg. The whole thing is turned round, and then you do this, the parts in the middle, and yeah, there was no need to turn that bit around. Okay, so what you want to end up with is these base parts here, like that. Now, I'm going to have to, his legs do spray out a little bit. There we are. To that. Now, same thing on this side. I actually think that this should be this side up. No, it is. I had it right originally, and then this comes out like so. And there we are. So, what we're getting here is the start of the two wide city parts for Metroplex. Now, these towers, which are his arms, they don't stay as his arms. So one of them flips around the back, and the other one kind of sticks out at the front. I'm going to have to come round here. So this arm, yeah, actually when it comes in the box, this one of the arms isn't connected, and I have a feeling it's this arm. But it might be this arm. No, I think it's that arm that's not connected. This arm does rotate round. Just as well it does in many ways, because it's often the only way to fit things on. Okay, so that arm rotates round, like so. What that gives us then is, well, it effectively gives us the rear part of the tower at the back. You can't really see it on here because of the angle, so if we do that, it's just behind the head. This arm comes out. Because of the way the hand is, we have to put the hand like that, but that arm actually comes out like so. I'm not sure that that's the right way around. No, it is the right way around. Isn't it? Isn't it? The trouble with Metroplex is he's so huge, it's actually quite difficult sometimes to figure out what you're looking at. There's something here that does move out, but because, there we are, it's this side. Because of the way the plastic is sometimes, it's not obvious. So there's, on here you've got, yeah, I can see this is going to be, this is a bit stuck, there we are. Now, annoyingly, to get that out like there, yeah, something's not quite right there, is it? I think what I need to do here is have this a bit higher up. So get his hand out of the way, got that out like that. This is basically a weapon system. I'm not really very, ultimately I guess it doesn't matter because this guy can go anywhere and it doesn't make too much of a difference. Okay, so I'm going to put this like that. Not really a whole lot of room on here, as you can see everything kind of keeps turning around a bit. This huge part here now forms his tower, so that slots in at the back. I'm not really going to be able to show you that. I can even find it myself. It's almost a little bit too big, this guy. It's going to get the face down. So put these out like so. This section here folds. It splits in two. It will split in two. Might be easier really to do that. There we go. Very secure connections. And this gives you a little helipad here. You do have these things that flip up. Not quite sure what they are, but they do that anyway. That flips down there to produce the missile bank, and this one, I'm not sure if this one does actually, or does it flip up? We'll leave it for the moment. Okay, now where am I? Feet. Feet aren't normally feet in city mode. That goes up like that. This whole, the knee here goes up like this to produce a kind of little way. And I don't know if you really saw any of that, so we'll tilt the camera this way so you can see a bit better what I'm doing. That flips down, this flips up. Same deal here. So what you have is kind of a tunnel effect leading in. I think we'll probably just pull this out a little bit further. What next? This needs to come down. Now, actually, this would normally connect onto there, but I can try and move this. I'm just wary that things will start dropping, but actually no, it doesn't. So that kind of thing, and that kind of recreates a little bit how the original Metroplex was with the ramps on it. I think we're finally there. Gosh, that's a hell of a lot of transformations there. Okay, so you got your little tank slammer, who will very happily, sit in there. Scamper, who will very happily sit in here. You kind of sit here and thinking, is that everything? But I think it is everything. This, I know I took this tower off, strictly speaking it should probably still be reattached somewhere, but hey, I'm not going to lose sleep about that at the moment. Guns. Now, city mode doesn't always have guns, but hey, you've got so many weapons, you can give him guns. So you can attach that, so you can attach it, you can attach that there. Let's attach this gun here. You can give him kick-ass weapons as well. You've already got a gun here, but there's an extra socket. Why not attach this gun here? Give you more options. Missile banks. Where should we put these? Well, there's some slots here. Oh, he says there is, but it helps to actually attach them on. Actually, I'm not sure. They're actually screw holders, so they're probably not suitable as slots, but there's a slot. That doesn't help, of course. There's a slot there. There's a slot here. Let's pick up the gun that's on the floor and put that, reattach that. Of course, full-size Metroplex wouldn't probably have weapons falling on the floor, but never mind. Now, these weapons do actually have holes in as well where you can put these turrets, but I'm just going to say there's anywhere else we can slot them on Metroplex, because I think there is. There are, of course, so you can slot these at the sides here. These holes here are actually not meant for weapons, because they connect to the other parts of the system, so they actually connect to the when you transform. However, why not? Let's stick him in there. We've got the space, let's use it. Okay, so with this last one in place, let's go take this off and give you a bit more of a tour. So what I've done, as you can see here, all these little bits here, that would normally slot into there, or that would slot into there, but because they're the ideal size for these little turrets, I put them on. You've got more turrets. He's just a veritable walking armoury, isn't he? More weapon systems. More weapon systems. He is pretty cool. Now, he'll work very well with the smaller guys, like, as I say, like Scamper and so on. He will also fit well with the micro machines. Micro machines? That's a completely different subset. I mean, micro masters. So you pick your micro master, such as that. He'll very comfortably sit in there. Yeah, obviously he isn't transformed, but he'll very comfortably sit in there. I'm not sure if I've got any car. Yeah, I do have good cars. So, remember Stepper from all those reviews ago? He actually will quite comfortably fit on the ramp as well. So it actually will take the G1 Transformers very comfortably. And the only reason Stepper won't go through the ramp fully is because of the headmaster, of the target master, but when that falls on the ground, it will very happily drive through. I'm feeling I might have just got him. No, I haven't got him stuck, but he'll very happily drive through. So, you know, it is quite frankly incredible just how big this guy is. Okay, so we'll just pop that back down on there and just rotate that down there. Okay, there's one more mode left, which is the fortress mode, as it were. The battle mode, so when he rolls along the convoy. So we're going to have to take all the guns off and transform again. Before we do that, before we forget, let's just show you Slammer. So he's the Scamper rather. So he's the only one that actually the accessory that comes with Metroplex, and he's quite a decent little car actually. Again, he's a legend-sized character, so you've got a little gun that's built in, and what you basically need to do to change him is take those apart. These are his arms. This then rotates down like so, and then you've just got this part here which needs to flip down and round, so that's level there. This then flips down, well, and he's there pretty much. He's got some weird arm system going on here, by which I mean, because of the way the ball joint is there, you can kind of do a funky dance like that, but he does struggle. You can put his arms out like that, but it's kind of an odd arm movement. So yeah, you can get him to do disco robot, but he does struggle a bit with some of his other stances. And of course, the weapon just slots into there. So again, it does make for some odd. It helps, say the arm does come off, pop off sometimes. It does give you some weird position. So he's fairly decent. He's better as a car than a robot, it has to be said, just because, say, it's a fairly funky position where his hands go. Got a hell of a lot of wheels as well. The wheels do actually move, which is worth commenting on, both front and back, which you don't often, so it's good that all the wheels move. We'll just get him out of the way at the moment. Take off all these guns that I've added on. Fair few. Some are more happy to come off than others. Take those off, and these, and we'll just make sure that we don't trap our Micromaster in it as well. Okay, so rolling mode. Excuse me. So this is where he transforms into, as I say, the wheeled fortress, as it were. So we'd start by flipping this down, flipping that down, and then that really doesn't not want to come out there, but it's gonna. Okay, so I forgot Slammer was in there, and he made absolutely sure to pop out. So there we are, Slammer. Okay, so the legs rotate back up like this, but they need to be the other side round because these are where the wheels are. So you will need to rotate the legs. The legs actually rotate the other way because there's wheels here too. So we won't rotate them just yet. Do this side now. Same deal. Put the legs together. There is actually a hook in the middle for it, and then pick the whole lot up here, just put this arm back out, and then you want to sit him down again so that it's now the legs are behind. Like so. Now, there is a tab here which will connect the two together. So, I'm going to show you at the end because we'll be here forever if I show you a handheld now. Now the scoots here, they are still scoots, but they don't want to be quite as low down. These you just move back up so they're out the way. Same on this side, back up so it's out the way. So what you want to do is try to get this level. So the idea is when he moves, say they're level and they're not in the way. So that's the basis of the wheel mode. Now, this part needs to flip around, so it does rotate very, very easily like that. This still comes down like that, so you've still got the runway. And now for the arms. So with the arms this time, you kind of want them to go behind. So that's in front, but they don't go in front for this mode. They kind of go behind, like in that mode. So this gun, of course, will need to flip back in because we won't need it out. Don't know if you saw that, but what I've done is I've just flipped that gun in there. This goes down because it's now in firing position, and then if I rotate this side, it might be a little bit more obvious what I'm doing. Extremely obvious, actually. Okay, we are just going to retract these as well. They look towers because they're towers, and he's not in tower mode at the moment. Now, as for these, you could, well, you can't really extend them because there's nowhere to put them, but they are still serve as a weapon of sort. Or you could just put them like this. I suggest you pop them like this. There's plenty of places for them to hold on to, I'm sure. You have to come round the other way. I mean, you don't have to attach them at all, really, but just for completeness sake, might as well do. It keeps them out of the way as well. You don't like to use them because they're so big, but nevertheless. Okay, so walk in front of the camera, probably not the best idea. Now, there is a, what was I saying? Yes, there is, in here, there's a little arm, a robot arm, which comes out. The idea is this is meant to be a repair arm. What's quite a nice touch is it does actually have this little bit opens and closes here. I'm going to move this a little bit closer now that we're a bit closer. So that moves, that opens and closes there. And it's actually got a hell of a lot of articulation on it. Far more than you get on most robots' arms. And that's only a tiny piece of Metroplex, so that's a pretty cool thing. This is big, this one, it really is. Now this flips open here to give you a weapon here. Again, we can reattach all these guns as well if we wanted to. I'm not going to attach them all, but just to give you an indication of what you could do. So you could have big cannon up there. This cannon will go, let's just think where we put this one. I think we'll put this one actually on this gun as well. So you've got a gun on top of another gun. Yeah, I could go on with the others. I'm not going to because you've seen them all work, but suffice to say there's plenty of options for them. Slab will very happily sit there. He will quite happily fall down. Scamper will too. So we'll just transform him back into his car because, frankly, the robot mode, well, no, it doesn't really do it for me. As we saw, his arms are funny. They're just kind of disco. They're too disco for me. There we go. Car's far more effective mode. And we'll stick him on there so he can either be repaired or you can do things with him. Just go handheld to show you how this all looks together. So what you've got these to the kind of level. Then as you go up, you've got the runways along here with the tanks. You got that the repair bay. You've got the launch bay there. You've then got a load of, I can show you the rockets. This doesn't open. You've got gunnery sitting for a Legends figure to sit in there, or some of the smaller guys will happily fit there too. You've got the extra weapons here. You've got the head, more weapon. Then these are on the back here. It just goes on and on and on. It's just so detailed. And again, stepper. So your normal, your G1 size transformer very happily fits on there as well. Doesn't look at all out of place. And I think that's pretty much it. We're finally there for Metroplex. Now, there probably is bits on here that I haven't shown you. There's probably detail on here that I haven't shown you as well, such as the waist, for example. All the wheels do move. It may not look like it, but they do actually all move. It's just, I think it has to be put down as probably one of the best Transformers ever made. I know it's very large, and that gives them scope to do more. So, you know, they've got scope to having put a robot arm on there to give you a decent runway, to give you a helipad here, give you little places, almost a place set for Legends figures or G1 figures for that matter to sit in there. Actually, I haven't really shown you a Legends figure in there, have I? Let's take Legends Prowl. So it's sitting in there. We'll just go handheld so you can actually see. There we go. So Legends Prowl very happily sits in there, quite at home. Fits in just fine. So it's ideal fix for that, but your full-size G1s will happily sit in there as well. Well, maybe not in there, but the small ones, but I mean when they're in car mode, they'll very happily interact with it as well. It's brilliant. There is no two words for it. It's pricey, and you're probably looking over £100, but actually when you consider you pay a similar amount for a third-party combiner, that's pretty good value for money. It is plasticky. There isn't any question of getting away from that, and a lot of it is quite hollow. So all this part of the leg here, for example, is hollow. So when you flip it out, you've got a play set, but of course it's also cheaper for Hasbro and Takara to build than it is to have that as a solid piece of plastic. So some of it does hook together extremely strongly. Some of it is less strong. It's almost a little gimmicky in that respect. Additionally, because of the size of Metroplex, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to know what to do with him. When he's in robot mode, he's so much taller than all the others. It's almost unfair. It does feel very much, as I said before, like you've actually got a toddler. It's similar sort of height, I think about 2 foot tall, so it's huge. Technically it's the Generations version, but it's a Titan really. They're all Titans for this kind of size. You can't really fault it, you know. It's Metroplex. Look at him. It is Metroplex. Other Metroplex, I know the G1 Metroplex for the time was big and is a good robot. There's no getting away from it. It doesn't compare even slightly with the Generations or the Titan Metroplex here. I mean, just the legs alone are larger than the original Metroplex, and you've got all this part as well. You do have to, unfortunately, buy third-party stuff to get a proper head and to get the additional slammer and 6 gun. To be honest, the head and the extra guns from Unique Toys, you could probably skip, but I do think you need to get the Iron Factory set to complete with 6 gun and slammer, and it's a bit cheap of Hasbro to not include them. Considering they include Scamper, why couldn't they have included the other guys as well? It is still good value for money just because you get so much for it. You don't just get a huge robot, which you do. You don't just get a triple changer, which you do. You get an actual interactive playset for all your other Transformers. Be it Legends, which is what it's scaled for, but as I've shown with Stepper there, it works very well with your G1 Transformers as well. And that will also link into the Combiner Wars. As long as they're not too big, they will quite happily interact with him as well. And in robot mode, because he's so much bigger than all the others, again, it interacts very well with them. He's bigger than the Combiners, and again, it all interacts and looks good with it. Worth the money. Yes, it's a lot of money. You got to find somewhere to put him, and it's not often that you have to worry about that with Transformers, but you do have to find somewhere to put him. Yes, it is a little bit plasticky. Some of the detailing is brilliant, such as the runway on here. I know it's all stickers, but it's still really good detailing. The helipads. Some of it's a little bit lacking, such as the legs here. While this bit's really good, this bit here is not a huge sculpting. There is sculpting there, but it's not massively detailed. So it kind of varies between being fantastic sculpt and not so fantastic sculpt. Now, the UK version here, it does have light and sound, but it does really nothing. It kind of makes a It's not even a proper transformation sound. It makes a few sounds which aren't. It's just not worth doing, really. Other regions, it does have speech as well, and it's disappointing that this doesn't. I know it's the European market, but it's still annoying that it doesn't say transform or something, because transform seems to be universal no matter what language you're in, so it's a bit disappointing for that. It's not that complex a transformer to change, it's just lots of little parts to do, so it's more the amount you've got to change and the fact that the size of the parts rather than the complexity. So you could give it to someone who, you should give it to a kid and the transform will be half the size of them, but actually they won't have a problem with transforming it, just the size of it. Anyway, I think we've had enough of listening to me for that. We've just gone past the half-hour mark. I think if you've got an opportunity to get this guy, get him. Don't hang around. It's the kind of one that, 10 years time, 20 years time, however long, probably be as valuable as the original Metroplex, if not more. But if you get the opportunity, do get it, because it gives you so much interaction with your other transformers as well. It's kind of worth it for that alone. Thank you very much for watching. Please do leave any comments below. Click and subscribe for more videos, and we'll see you for some more transformers shortly. Probably not quite on the same scale, but there are still quite a lot to review. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.